Good morning, good evening, and good night, and welcome back to the channel. Before I get into anything that this video is going to be on, I would like to thank everybody who has subscribed so far. We are so close to 100 subscribers at the recording of this video, and I believe we will probably be there by the time that this video is completed, so thank you to everybody who has subscribed. I will be making some sort of celebration video or something like that in the upcoming weeks, but today I'm just going to get right into the topic so that I don't, scare you guys away. So this video was requested by a subscriber, and that is how do you make an animation in Krita? As you can see, none of this looks like it could really make an animation, and when you go to new file, create something, where is all the animation stuff? I mean, I don't see anything here. You can draw, but there's nothing to make an animation. Well, first of all, to get into any animation, you go to Window, and then you go Workspace, and this is where you'll see the different workspaces. This is Big Paint, Big Vector, stuff like that. So you have to go straight to animation. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that you have all the tools over here, but you can't select your brushes. So the first thing I like to do is bring up the brushes tab. All you have to do to bring up the different brushes is go to settings, Dockers, and then this is where you can find all of the different windows. So right here, we're going to go to brush presets, and that will add it over here nice and big where you can see all of the brushes. Now, select a brush, you just click on it, just like normal if you were making a normal drawing. Now, if you don't know how to make any drawings or anything like that in Krita, I do suggest you check out my other video, which will be up in the top right corner right now. But if you have watched that video, or if you are already good at using Krita and you already know what you're doing, then this video is for you. So first things you're going to wonder is how do you make an animation, because you draw here and you go to the next frame down here on your timeline, which is very small for some reason. I have not been able to figure out how to move it, but it's going to stay small. It doesn't want to move for me. But you notice if you go from frame 1 to frame 2, draw something here, frame 3, well, it's the same every time, and you go back and none of your changes were recorded. So what you want to do is, let's just undo all of this, and the first thing you have to do before you can start an animation is you have to right click and press create blank frame. Now this will create an actual frame right there, which will be blank. Now if you go into the next one, it will be the same, and if you draw on it, it'll create a new frame. Now it will not delete the old frame, and you will just be left with the drawing you had before plus a new one. So as you can see, if you go back, you have these. Now, if you want to delete a frame, you hit delete, and that will not actually delete the frame, that will clear the frame. What this will do is it'll leave the blank frame, but it will clear whatever was there. So now you can draw like this, and then you go on to the next one and draw like this, and you can see all three different drawings will be saved. So to delete the actual frame, you're going to right click it, and then you're going to do remove frame and pull, which will remove the frame and pull it forwards. Or you can draw here and press just remove keyframe, and it will completely remove it. Any spots that you have not actually drawn anything will just continue from the last, the most recently created frame. As you can see, no matter how far we go, it'll just be the same. So now something that is used a lot in animation is called an onion skin. I'm just going to create a few blank frames here, and then I will explain to you guys how you can use an onion skin. If you don't know what that is, basically what it'll do, as you can see, as I'm drawing, I can't see what I previously drew unless I go back and look at it. So if I have drawings like this, you can see that obviously you can't see what you drew before or after. And even after hitting this right here, which looks like a little shredded onion, like an onion skin, it shows that these three before are enabled and these three after are enabled. So why isn't it showing up? Well, to do that, you actually can close that. It doesn't actually delete anything or anything like that. And then what you can do is you have to go right here to this light bulb, and you got to click that, and then all of the onion skins will show up. Anything green will be after the frame that you're on, and then anything red will be before the frame that you're on. So if I'm on the black frame right here, red, this is the frame before it, this is the frame after it, and the frame after that. As you can see, there is also a faint little, right here, there's a faint little extra onion skin that you will not have unless you enable it. To enable different frames, you click these right here. So now you can see I only have 2 there, now I only have 1 there, and now I have none there. I can enable these, and then this little bar right here will change the opacity, how easily you can see the onion skin. for that section. So I like to keep it so that it's a 3-stage and the last one is very, very, very dim so that it doesn't interfere with what you're drawing. Next, you're going to want to know how to change the frame rate. So you can do right here is the frame rate 12 frames per second. This is frames per second. So this is how many of these drawings will go by every single second when you press play right here. As you can see, it'll go for a very, very long time, and the animation will just keep on going until finally it hits 100 frames, and then it will restart. And that can be very annoying if you're only working on a very small space. So if you want to change it so that it only goes for a very, very short amount of time, you go right here, start. Let's just keep this at 0 for now, and then end. You can just change to say 12 frames, and there you go. Now we'll only play for 1 second, and then it will restart. If you want to change where it starts, you can change this to say 3 and then this to say 6, and then you can just very carefully watch over a very specific part of your animation to make sure that it looks very smooth if you are making something that needs to be very smooth. Finally, you're probably going to be wondering how you can create extra layers. So right here, of course, here's the layer dock. If you press add layer right there, it will create a new layer. But if you notice here, it's as I click on the other frames, if I draw right here, as I have this frame selected, it actually doesn't draw on that layer, it draws on the layer above. The only way to change which layer you have selected is by either clicking on the layer over here or up here, and that will change which layer you are drawing on instead of which one you have selected. Selecting layers will just allow you to drag and move them and stuff like that, just like that. And that won't actually do anything if you just click on this right here and try and draw on it. It will actually draw on whichever layer you have selected by selecting it over here. That's basically all you need to know to get started creating your first animations in Krita. So, without further ado, I'm going to say I'm going to end this episode here. Now, there is one other thing that you might have to do after you create an animation in Krita, and that is exporting your animation. And that is a very, very complicated thing to do sometimes, but there are lots of YouTube tutorials out there on how to do it, and I will probably make one in the future if you guys request it enough. So for now, this is all I'm going to teach you guys. If you guys can't find a tutorial or would prefer me to do the tutorial for you on how to export your animations, I can make a video on that. It is a little bit complicated because Krita isn't really made for animation specifically. It's made more for drawing and photo editing, mainly drawing. So if you want a video on that, I will do that if you guys request it enough. Thank you guys for watching. Hit like, share this video with somebody who could find it useful, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.